Japan's economy is shattering. The Japanese economy has slipped into a recession. The country has lost the crown of the third largest economy and dropped to the fourth in dollar terms as Germany took its place. But what happened? Let me explain. While the world was focusing on China's economic slowdown, Japan has unexpectedly slipped into a recession. Japan is now the world's fourth largest economy. The economy contracted 0.1% in the December quarter after shrinking 0.8% in the quarter before. In dollar terms, its gross domestic product or GDP stood at $4.2 trillion versus $4.5 trillion of Germany. The provisional GDP contracted 0.4% in the December quarter after revised 3.3% slump in July to September quarter. Over a decade ago, Japan lost the second position to China. This time, the shift is due to the sharp fall in yen, Japan's currency, versus US dollar in the past 2 years. The Japanese currency fell by almost a fifth against the US dollar in 2022 and 2023. In the last 1 year, the currency fell more than 10% against the US dollar, and in the last 5 years, the fall was over 26%. Another reason is the falling domestic consumption and high inflation. Private consumption, which accounts for half of the economy, declined 0.2%. Now, inflation has been gradually slowing down, but the core inflation, which is the inflation minus food and energy prices, has exceeded Bank of Japan's 2% target for 15 straight months now. The GDP data released on February 15 showed that the total value of goods and services was down by 0.1% in the last 3 months of 2023. This as businesses and households are spending less. Still, the bank has patiently continued with the last negative rate regime in the world. The bank believes that the wage increments would translate into a more meaningful spiral, encouraging customers to spend more. The Economy Revitalization Minister Yoshitaka Shindo said that the country will deploy all policy steps to support pay rises. The country is facing a labor crunch. Aging population is also a concern in Japan. The government-led attempts to boost birth rates have failed in the past, and this means that the chronic labor shortage may worsen in the future. This is even as the country welcomes a record number of foreign workers. The only benefit from a weak yen is for the Japanese car makers and other exporters, as their goods are now cheaper in the international market. The latest GDP fine print complicated the case for interest rate normalization for the central bank. Market experts are expecting the bank to move away from its negative rates regime. Experts say that the weaker than expected growth strengthens a case for looser monetary policy for a much longer period. Germany, which has replaced Japan on the third largest economy, is also not well placed in terms of economic growth. Germany is also resource poor, has an aging population, and is heavily dependent on exports. Germany also faces an inflation in energy prices caused by Russia-Ukraine war, rising interest rates in the Eurozone, and chronic shortage of skilled labor. But the labor crunch is much worse in Japan. The UK has also slipped into a recession with 2 back-to-back quarters of negative growth. The GDP for the last quarter of 2023 shrank 0.3%. So with these two economies, Japan and Germany, facing the heat, India is the 5th largest behind the two. Will this benefit India in any way? Well, India is expected to become a 5 trillion economy by 2025. By 2030, S&P Global estimates India to become a 7.3 trillion economy and the third largest in the world. The IMF projects India to overtake Japan in 2026 and Germany in 2027, given a growth in country's young population. For more such detailed explainers, keep watching ET Now.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.